Yes, indeed, the Jim and Terry Show coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio in downtown Bob Cage, and I'm one of your hosts, the FM voice, the voice of Terry, without Jim. Jim, where are you? Are you on your way back? Will you be back for the next few podcasts? Or do we finish up the rest of the week with the Terry Solo Podcast Series? Well, whatever we've got in store, it's going to begin with music. One of the foundation principles of the Jim and Terry Show is that we were old retired musicians, but we're still making music, if that's what you call what we do. For me, it all begins with sound. I am a sonic junkie. Yes, I confess my addiction. I don't know that there is treatment, except there is a resolution, and that is my therapy is to experiment with sound. So I'm going to start with some textures, and then I will end up layering them all together and see what you think. It is not a song yet. There is what I call an ambient texture, a synthesized sound that has a lot of character to it. It's got a whole bunch of frequencies, and if you saw the waveform for this, it's all over, from the low to the high, and then within that, I usually poke where I want to have an emphasis. So I take the EQ graph and I give it a little nudge. In this case, let me see. What I've look at here is I'm going to my EQ and I'm looking and I see a couple of pokes on it. I poke it at, and a poke means like a little finger poke. It goes up a few dB at about, looks like about 3 kilohertz. And then another poke in the mid-range, somewhere around 4,000 hertz. And then another upward little movement towards the base to pull the bottom end where it really vibrates and oscillates. Well, that's that ambient texture. What else did I add? Try this. Of course, I play around with a drum kit as well, and I play around with it by poking again at certain frequencies that I want. If I want a nice kick, a boom, then I poke in the low end. If I want the snares and the cymbals to come out, I put some sizzle on it, some sparkle in the high kilohertz range. But sometimes a normal drum kit isn't just what you need, so I add a layer of smack. Yeah, smack drums. Here they go. Smack drums. That's an actual name for a program, and I don't have it in front of me, but it's from Native Instruments, and it's Big Vitch Drums, I think is what it's called, the actual name of the program. And of course you can tailor your own kit, which is what I usually do to find out something that will fit together. So regular kit, a synth kit, synthesized kit with some effects on it. And again, you EQ all these things, but what else do you need? You need a main chord progression, something that says you're going somewhere and you're going on a journey from this chord to that chord, discord, that chord. Here you go. Well, there you go, some sparkly electronic keyboard sounds. I needed to change it up and give it some extra texture, so I chose what is to me my favorite summery sound, the steel drum. Of course, you have to learn how to play these things, so you got to know what a real steel drum sounds like and how they play it in order to carry off the brrr sounds when you know that they're playing them with their drumsticks on the steel drum with their mallets. So you got to know a little bit about what the instrument is, what it's capable of, and try to play it as though it is the steel drum in front of you. Finally, I wanted something low. I wanted a low rumble drone. So here is what I tried to do. Now, what you heard in that low drone was a couple of nudges. We have in the DAW, the Digital Audio Workstation software, Cubase, which is an entry-level one for me. It comes in 3 levels and 3 pay scales. And of course, being a retired guy, I go for the cheap entry point. And that's what I did. Cubase, I forget what the model is. Elements, I think, 10.5. I don't know what they're up to now, 13, 14. A little bit out of date, but I like the automation. So what I did in the low drone was poke it a bit in the low end, somewhere in the 1,000 range hertz. And then I poked it again towards the middle upper range in the kilohertz, and you can hear it sizzle at that point. So you do all that stuff and you put it all together, and this is what you end up with. Before we get a chance to sub out the synth bass with a real bass from Keith, before vocals and lyrics are added for mood and layers of vocal harmony and guitars are added, usually acoustic, maybe a electric lead. But this is the beginnings of the whole process. Here we go. As it fades out there, you can hear how they all combine. And it's really in the combining of things that you get the special secret sauce, the special ingredients, the things that really add. And of course, there's more to the production. I just spoke of EQ, but then there's compression and there are filters that you can put on when you want to pull things out, even distortions or other ways of manipulating sound with effects to tailor it more to what you want. But that's the humble beginnings of a little. Did it have a Caribbean feel? Maybe that's what the steel drums indicate. But whatever it is, it's going to be a summer tune. And sometimes I give it a name if I think the file is making me feel a certain way before I send it off to Keith, who sometimes looks at the title that I've given it and right away goes off on a tangent and says, oh yeah, okay. And so that's what you do when you're a duo. I'd like to think we're a bit of Batman and Robin, dynamic duo, where we work in tandem with each other, try to get a song from one place to another, from an ambient texture synth, which is what I started with, to the finished combination of all the sounds, including rhythms and sonic textures, combining together with some production techniques, gives us the finished song. So now, the process, just to keep you posted, is off in Keith's court. I have lobbed the ball across the net, and there it goes. He's got the file. And of course, I send him the premix. And then what he does is sit down with that file, that MP3 file, low resolution, so it goes across the internet quite well. Not really too much of an audible difference in the quality of sound between the low res file that I sent him. 128 kilobits per second is usually the resolution, goes flying across the internet, as opposed to a CD quality, 44.1 kilohertz. Yeah, it's a big difference in frequency when you get to that, the WAV file. But that's how we finish it off. Do you notice any difference when you're streaming? Not really. When you got your earbuds on or you got whatever device you are using to stream music, not to play the vinyl album with all the, diligence that you would have cleaning your vinyl. I can remember the days of being so meticulous with my vinyl, grabbing it by the edges, gently not plopping, that's the wrong word, gently lowering the oil-dampened arm with the needle. And you got the best needle that you could afford, and you spun your vinyl, and you had a decent amplifier, I trust, and some decent speakers giving you some great frequency response. And then you're in an audiophile heaven. Doesn't matter so much when you're streaming on your earbuds and your iPhones and whatever other technology you use. Be that as it may, I will end with the back end of the song as it fades into the ending. Jim and Terry Show signing off. How you make a song, a summary vibe, hopefully puts you in the mood for something good. Bye-bye for now.